Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Grant Gustin because he has commented on his return as the Flash potentially in the DCU. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. Also, we're going to be uploading lots this month as it's the release month of Superman. I've really got to get back on track in terms of making videos and making content on the channel, so if you have any suggestions of any DCU, maybe Flash or Supergirl or Superman related content, let me know down in the comments below what you would like to see on the channel in the upcoming weeks. Also, we should start live streaming again. I think my first live stream is going to be all to do with Superman. I will announce that on my community tab once the time is right, sometime maybe later this week or next week. But let's go ahead and break down today's main topic. So this is coming from Screen Rant from my good friend Andy. Shout out to Andy. You can go read his article in the link in the description below. The article is titled "Grant Gustin only wants to join James Gunn's DC universe as the Flash." So this is how it goes. Grant Gustin shares how he would want to play the Flash again in James Gunn's DC Universe franchise. While the DCU's Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters slate has numerous reboots in the works for multiple DC heroes, the Scarlet Speedster's fate is still currently unknown. So obviously Andy's talking all about the DCU, talking about how there's not been an official Flash yet. However, we did see a glimpse of the Flash in the future in Creature Commandos back in season 1, so that was like a little cameo. Obviously it's animated, you can't tell who is going to be playing the Flash, but according to Gunn, in December 2024 there is no development on a new Flash movie in the DCU for the time being at DC Studios. However, someone who is no stranger at all to the world of the Flash is making it clear that he is open to revisiting the fastest man alive. So that person is of course Grant Gustin himself. We all know Grant has basically popularized the Flash, just like how Melissa Benoist popularized Supergirl, and now they are big things in the DC universe. And yes, the Flash will be a big thing, it's just they're not in a rush to start with the Flash straight away because it's not been such a long time since the Flash film came out. And so at the recent Fan Expo in Denver, Twitter user Superflashwest, who maybe some of you guys follow, was at the panel, and Gustin, along with several Flash TV cast members, attended a special Q&A, and during the panel, which Screen Rant was in attendance for, a fan asked Gustin, and I quote, "If James Gunn casts you in his DCU, who would you want to play?" Which is obviously a big question because we've seen actors return in different roles. Even in the new DCU, like Jason Momoa is going to be returning to DC, but he is not playing Aquaman this time, he is showing up as Lobo. Yes, that's a fan casting that went around for a while, and obviously maybe people would like to see Grant Gustin playing like Batman or playing a different hero or a villain maybe, but you could imagine they could return as the same characters. We know that James is going to take some stuff from the past universes like Peacemaker. He is definitely going to be involved because they made Peacemaker Season 2 and that's going to be linked into the main DCU. So there's always the opportunity for Grant Gustin to show up as the Flash, and it could be still linked to the Arrowverse, or he could be playing someone completely different. So the quote, "If James Gunn casts you in the DCU, who would you want to play?" led to Grant Gustin answering with one simple word: Flash. Full stop. So this got a great response. There is actually a video that you can watch from Superflashwest on Twitter. Lots of claps were in the room. Everyone was super excited to hear this. Obviously, that kind of would be his answer because we know he is very open to returning to the Flash. He's even talked about like maybe a limited series at some point that he could potentially work on, but also not just act in it, but like produce it and have more of a say. Because if you guys remember, like Grant Gustin, he was the main actor for many years in The Flash, but he didn't really have much of a say in terms of like directing episodes or writing or producing in any way. So when he's previously been asked about returning as The Flash, that's what he's mentioned before. Also, we know James Gunn is a fan of Grant Gustin and would want to work with him at some point. But let's go back to Grant's response because it's so simple, just Flash. Like, it just makes sense. Like, I just so want to see him return as the Flash. I feel like there is no point even trying to cast a new Flash. Like, it's going to be so hard. Yes, you could cast a different Jay Garrick or a Wally West, but casting Barry Allen in the DCU, I feel like it's just going to be an impossible road to actually go down, because we've seen it with the DCEU. No one really liked Ezra Miller's Flash. Like, all people were doing was comparing him to Grant Gustin, so why not just get the best Barry Allen out there, who is actually totally down to return? So what does Grant's comments mean for James Gunn's DCU and for a potential Flash film or TV show in the future that can be set in this new DC universe? So Andy continues, while Gunn and Gustin have openly shared that they have talked about the DCU through social media, it has been more about Superman than the Flash. With Gustin's latest response, it leans more into how the Arrowverse star is clearly still invested in the Flash legacy, even if he isn't seriously being considered to be the DCU's main Scarlet Speedster. That hasn't obviously been confirmed, like, either way. Like, we don't know if they are thinking about it or if they've not thought about it at all, but it's always a possibility that they might want to bring him back. So even if Gustin isn't attached to appear in the DCU franchise as of right now, that could always change, which is very true. And despite his response at Fan Expo Denver at the panel, it's hard to imagine he wouldn't be open to playing other DC roles if offered. And when it comes to having Gustin in DCU, Gunn has previously said that he'd love to work with the Flash star at some point. So we know Grant Gustin is a big Superman fan. Obviously that role has been taken, and he's a big Flash fan now after many years of playing the character. So yeah, he could play like any other hero, and I'm sure he would be down to appear, but it would be great if they could pay homage to the Flash TV show and start something new with him. And he's not old, guys. Like, he is kind of prime age for Barry Allen. So even if it's a good few years, Gustin does like a bunch of other stuff in the meantime, like different TV shows, different films, and then maybe at the point where James Gunn is ready to tackle the Flash, whether it be a TV show or a film, then potentially Grant could get the call. And if they want to link it into the Arrowverse, obviously they could make it a multiversal thing. We don't know too much about how heavy James is going to be leaning into the multiverse. Obviously it's a big thing in the MCU right now, it's a big thing in the Arrowverse, and the Flash film went into different timelines and everything, so there is definitely a chance if he ever does show up, it could definitely be the Arrowverse version of the Flash. So before we end this video, we got one final topic. This is to do with the DCU, so kind of staying on topic. It's not specifically to do with the Flash, it's actually to do with the DCU's Batman, because we got an update, and that is because James Gunn has confirmed the mystery script that is almost ready for the DCU. So we need to talk about that and break it down. This is again from Andy from Screen Rant. So Andy begins the article by saying the Brave and the Bold movie, which will reboot Batman for the DC universe, gets a major update from James Gunn. And so as the Brave and the Bold has Andy Muschietti, who directed The Flash, tapped to direct the DCU's Batman reimagination, alongside obviously what Matt Reeves is doing with the Batman Part 2. So the story will focus on Bruce Wayne discovering the existence of his son, Damian Wayne, aka Robin. That character hasn't been cast yet, neither has Batman, as far as we know. And while no release date is currently attached to The Brave and the Bold, the film is making major steps forward to becoming a reality. And during a new interview with The Omelette to promote Gunn's Superman movie, the outlet asked the DC Studios co-head James Gunn how many Batman scripts he expects to be reading in the next couple of months, and with a laugh Gunn stated 2. So one is obviously Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2, and the other is clearly The Brave and the Bold. And while Gunn has previously slated that he is working with a writer on the Brave and the Bold script, it still remains a mystery who is the actual writer that is working with James Gunn, as he hasn't shared their names yet. So it's great to hear that they're actually making progress on these Batman films. Like, I know all of you guys are probably very excited to see the DCU Batman, whoever eventually plays him. I know that I'm really excited, and yeah, you can be a bit hesitant considering Andy Muschietti didn't do such a good job with The Flash. Like, I enjoyed The Flash, but it's not a great film, and so I feel like, yeah, we gotta trust him, and he could probably make a good film because he's made good films in the past. But this iteration of the Batman is going to have to live up to the actual Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman. Like, that's going to be very hard because he is almost like the perfect modern day Batman. And if part 2 is as good as part 1, it's going to be insane, and it's going to be really hard to be anywhere as good. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. But for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.